This is the tutorial for the JITECH HSS Deck-Support component. This component facilitates the placement of HSS tubes to support the deck. It can be used on multiple members simultaneously given that those members are of the type beam. To use this component, we go to the Select Component Type window and search for JITECH HSS Deck-Support, and then we select our desired beam. This component facilitates deck support placement by traversing the length of the beam to detect intersecting members, specifically columns, beams, and joists, and placing segments of the chosen section size in between these interfering members. So you can see which members are being detected by which members are allowed or given a clearance type. So that way you can control how much spacing you give each type of member, right? You can't control specific types, specific members, so you can't give more spacing to this joist than this one or this one, right? But you can't control the difference between the joist and the beam that was behind the UI, right? Okay, in addition to the specific member type clearances, you can also give clearances to the left and right end of the beam, as well as determine, a little bit of the placement of the material by moving it left and right, giving this entry a positive and negative value, and rotating the HSS. So the rotation just determines which length of the HSS falls, whether it's the 6 or the 4 that falls flat against the flange. Okay, so we're just going to run this. All right. So as you can see, it's finding the joists and it's placing it with the given clearance. With the columns, the detection of the base plate is a little iffy, so you do need to double check those. In this case, it's gotten it pretty well, and if you rotate it, it would actually adjust accordingly. So, okay. Right. The reason this case is adjusting properly is just because of the clearance of the member being processed while this is being rotated. But in cases, for example, where you add another joist, that might not always be the case. So if we were to delete this one, it would process the beam and change the HSS deck support. But if we were to go up here and actually add a new joist, you would see that it requires you to go and process the members separately. So if you select single, okay, select, and then, I don't know, place it around here somewhere, confirm copy, no second member. Okay, as you can see, it did not process the beam, so you have to actually go in here and process the beam, send the beam for processing, and it will adjust the materials accordingly. Right. So reminder, this is a component, which means that it's a dependent plugin, and while it can be edited, it is limited to the information available on its host member. So if for example, the column is just slightly a little bit off the center, the stick of the member, it might not detect it. The same kind of rule goes with like joists and beams. It really depends where they are relative to the member. It's pretty flexible for the most part. It does detect things pretty well, but if for some reason it's not detecting a member even after processes, you might want to reconsider the placement. It might be off by like a 1/16 of an inch, and that might just be enough to cause a problem, right, depending on how it's placed. Please remember that plugins are there to make the user's life easier, but it is still the user's responsibility to review the results for accuracy. Hope this helps your day go smoother, and good luck.